Okay.
You don't strike me as the immigrant generation, I'm surprised.
No, I'm not. I just know the
I'm
proverb.
teasing. Thank you.
Thanks.
That was süß.
Oh, and Jeff Sawyer.
Is he doing it?
I think so. You see him, that's why. Yeah. We're so far away from one another today. Okay.
Excuse me?
We're gonna have to move you over again. You're out of frame. Or move the camera back. What's the point of that? You get a wider frame.
Are we ready?
All good? All right, ready?
Are we ready?
Okay, Shabbat Shalom. Good evening, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
See many new faces here tonight. For those who don't know me yet, I'm Rabbi Stefan Tivi. I'm the interim rabbi here at Temple Beth El for the year. Good to see you all here tonight. And of course, we also want to greet those folks who are tuned in from home or from wherever you are virtually. Shabbat Shalom to you as well. And one more reminder for those here in person, our mask policies are if you are vaccinated and we are outside, you do not need to wear the mask. As soon as if you have to move inside for some reason, please put the mask back on. And we're gonna move through the service, trying not to announce page numbers if it's just the next page over. So if you're like, where they headed, try the next page. If there's a bigger jump, we're gonna announce it to you. And we are here. Take a breather. Shabbat has arrived, day of rest. Have a look around you. Also introduce yourselves to those around, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. The same for the folks at home. If you want to wish folks a Shabbat Shalom in the chat, please feel free to do so.
So this evening, as we are going to welcome a special speaker, Kate Harris, who is from the Jewish Coalition for Immigrant Justice, some of the words and melodies that you'll hear tonight are about the awareness, being aware of the endless Jews who have been forced out of their homes to shores that are unfamiliar. They brought their gifts, they brought their music to the new country that became their homes, and so you'll hear some of that tonight. We're going to begin our service with a Sabbath prayer, asking God to protect the Jews of Eastern Europe and the shtetls, and you can find the text and join with me in your order of worship. May the Lord protect and defend you. May he always shield you from shame. May you come to be in Israel a shining name. May you be like Ruth and like Esther. May you be deserving of praise. Strengthen them, O Lord, and keep them from the stranger's ways. May God bless you and grant you long lives. May the Lord fulfill your Sabbath prayer for you. May God make you a people who thrives. May God in his wisdom always care for you. May the Lord protect and defend you. May the Lord preserve you from pain. Favor them, O Lord, with happiness and peace. Oh, we hear our Sabbath prayer.
For some reason, I want to rewatch Fiddler all of a sudden. I don't know. Oh, yeah. All right, as we're about to kick off Shabbat, we're about to light the Shabbat candles. And for that honor, I'd like to invite Ellen Peters and Jeff Seufer to come forward. The reading is on page 3 and the blessing on page 2 of your Siddur.
Hi there. Oh, and use this mic to speak. Yes.
Yeah. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Your turn.
Oh, great. Come on. Yes, of course.
How many Jews does it take?
Come on. Come on. Come on, my son.
Yay! Okay.
And then
Go back over
Oh,
here.
back
Okay, yes. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Yasher koach. Thank you.
great to see you. As we begin Kabbalat Shabbat here, we begin with the Jews of Morocco in one of their most popular melodies from Morocco. And I'm going to teach you the chorus, which only has 4 words. It's Ora, Besimcha, Shabbat, Menucha. And you can find it on 330, actually, if you're here. If you're in person, again, those words, Ora, Besimcha, Shabbat, Menucha. And what that means is light and joy, Shabbat of rest. And here is the melody for those words. It goes like this. Ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha. Ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha. So the first time it goes up, da da da. Second time it goes da da da. And it's in a Jewish mode called Ahava Rabbah, which is the one that sounds very Jewish, that has that da 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 da. So do that with me again. Ora v'simcha. Like this. Ready? And Ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha. Ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha. That's it. All right. And now let's sing it with, first we'll do it with a little slower, and then we're going to speed up to where it, like we sing it. Okay, here we go. Yom ze leYisrael Ora v'simcha Yom ze leYisrael Ora v'simcha Ora v'simcha Ora v'simcha Shabbat menucha Ora v'simcha Shabbat menucha Yom ze leYisrael Ora v'simcha Yom ze leYisrael Ora v'simcha Ora v'simcha Shabbat menucha Ora v'simcha Shabbat menucha Yom ze leYisrael Ora v'simcha Yom ze leYisrael Ora v'simcha Shabbat menucha Ora v'simcha Shabbat menucha. Very nice. And we're going to continue with a Hine Matov. And this Hine Matov is written to a Arabic makom, which is rhythm. And again, it has a Havarabah sound. Da, 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 da. I didn't plan that, but I'm glad that we have two in a row. So it goes like this. And if you'll play, there we go. And some of you know this, we've sung it, but a long time ago now, so it starts slow. And you can clap. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 Here's a faster. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 And my thanks to Debbie Jop on her beautiful drumming tonight. Thank you. And we move now to Italy from the Jews of Rome as we continue with Lecha Dodi on pages 20 and 21. Pages 20 and 21, this melody from Rome is very light and was actually improvised on in the Jews of Rome. So they do all kinds of little twirly thingies, and I'm not going to do many, especially at the beginning, but it's a really beautiful melody. And we're going to do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And on our 9th, we're going to rise and face, I guess, behind you, where we entered, kind of the entranceway to our sanctuary outside tonight. And I invite you to join to welcome the Shabbat bride. Join with me. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי, אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה. תוך אמוני ים סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
All right. In honor of our speaker tonight and the special theme that we're having, I included a couple of readings throughout the service. They're not on yours in your book or on your pamphlet, so just in case you were wondering. A rabbi and a soap maker once went for a walk together. The soap maker said to the rabbi, "What good is Judaism? After thousands of years teaching goodness, justice, and peace, all that study of Torah, all these ideals of the prophets, look at all the trouble and misery in the world. If Judaism is so wonderful and so true, why should that all be?" Rabbi didn't say anything. They continued walking. Suddenly they noticed a child playing in the gutter. The child was filthy with soot and grime. "Look at that child," said the rabbi. "You say that soap makers make people clean. See all the dirt on that youngster. What good is soap? With all the soap in the world, that kid is still filthy. I wonder if soap has any use at all." Soap maker was protesting and said, "But Rabbi, soap can't be any good unless it is used." "Gee whiz," said the rabbi, or like that. So it is with Judaism. It isn't effective until it is applied in our lives and used. Page 28, the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. Please rise and we face the building for that.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד. המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד.
Together on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvona meshane itim, umachaliv et hazmanim, umesadeh et hakochavim b'mishmerotem barakia kietzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, ומביא יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים.
And we continue with Ahavat Olam, leading into Shema, pages 32 and then 34. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbeinu v'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratcha, u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגן יומם ולילה, ואהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני שמו, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. Please be seated. We continue with V'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך, בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך, ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
True, we are often too weak to judge injustices, but the least we can do is to protest against them. True, we are too poor to eliminate hunger, but in feeding one child, we protest against hunger. True, we are too timid and powerless to take on all the guards of all the political prisoners in the world, but in offering our solidarity to one prisoner, we denounce all the tormentors. True, we are powerless against death, but as long as we help one man, one woman, one child live 1 hour longer in safety and dignity, we affirm the human's right to live. Elie Wiesel. Continue with Micha Mocha, our Song of Freedom, on page 40.
Ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya la 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 la, ya ba ba bim bam, ya la 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 la, ya ba ba bim bam. Mi kamocha b'alim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, norati lot osef eleh, norati lot osef eleh, malechutecha rahovanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe ומרים זה אלי עלו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד יבא בבים במים יבא בבים בם יבא בבים במים יבא בבים בם לי יבא בבים בם לי יבא בבים בם ונאמר כי פד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Page 42 for Hashkivenu, asking God to give us rest on this Shabbat. We start on the third line from the top.
Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha yalai lalai yalai lalai yalai lalai lalai yalai lalai yalai lalai yalai lalai lalai yalai lalai yalai lalai yalai lalai lalai yalai lalai yalai lalai yalai lalai
Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Bless you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us. over all your people Israel and over Jerusalem. Page 44, join together for Vishamur.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אות היא לעולם, אות היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
All right, we're about to turn to the Amidah on starting page 46. Please rise as you're able. And once more, facing towards the building.
Adonai sifhatai tiftach ufia giteilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor va'Norah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei HaKol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevi Geola livnei v'neihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol ata rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, O matir asurim, O mekayem emunato, li shenei afar, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please have a seat. On page 55 on the top. Let's join together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Continue on page 57, in the center. Ever-present One, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha, b'yirah na'avot. As has become custom here in this community for Modim, page 58, our prayer of thanksgiving. We think about what are some things that we are grateful for that happened to us during the last week, something joyful that we had. In a moment, if everybody just take a brief moment, going through what happened the week. What are some of the things you're grateful for? And in a moment, we're going to go around and share those. Also, those folks at home, if you want to share those in like a word or two in the chat, please feel free to do so. Always had Cantor start off, so maybe this week I'm gonna start. Had a wonderful week, and a hike up Mount Rainier together with Cantor and David Wheeler from the Temple Hikers Club. First time up there, yes. Got to break in my new hiking boots as well and stuff. So it was a lot of Shechianus going on there. So that was a wonderful time. So that's I'm grateful for. Cantor, what have you got?
That was so great, and he did much better than I did on the mountain. I have to say, this time I was pretty tired, but I think. Mine, I was going to also say, climbing up the mountain and the miraculous snow that you actually had on our path. We had to go up a hill in the snow, and it was the first time I'd ever done that, so it was a Shehechianu moment.
And nobody got, grievously hurt, that's awesome. Alrighty. Okay, folks, what else you got? What's going on? Yes, cat. Neighbor had puppies. I guess the neighbor's dog or cat had the puppies, I guess. Ah, there you go. Wonderful. Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. Zoom calls with family all over the world in Israel and Florida. Oh, heading into Hebrew University. That's wonderful. Mazel tov. Congratulations. All right. Yes, I see a hand.
Oh yeah, me and some friends pressed some apples old-fashioned way and made cider.
Ooh, fresh cider making. Nice. Did you do it at home or like at a workshop or something or?
At home, we've got a little urban farm.
Urban farm. Nice. Wonderful. All right. Did you bring any? No, that's a real question. Never mind. It's all good. It's all good. He drank it all. Okay. All right. Yes.
You
Your
moved
wife
to
and
New York.
I did.
They moved to their new home.
Moved to your new home. Wonderful. Congratulations. Mazel tov. I see a hand behind you. Yes. All right, came out of camp with a lot more friends. That's wonderful. Glad you had a good time. That's great. All right. Yes, front.
I made a new friend.
Made new friends as well. Wonderful. That's great. All righty. Ooh, got to ride in a Tesla. Okay, all right. So what was that like? Very sweet. There you go. Nice. It drives itself. Mm-hmm. Ah, wasn't necessary. That's a good thing, but to have. There you go. Nice. Yes, I saw a hand up there too. Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for the miracle of modern medicine. Antibiotics knocked out my lung infection in 5 days flat.
Wonderful. That's great. Your lung infection beat. That's wonderful. Glad you're feeling better. All right. What else? Yes. Brought your housemate to Shabbat services. That's great. Nice.
Welcome.
Yes. Good to have you guys. Yeah. Oh, celebrating a 32nd anniversary. Mazel tov. Congratulations. All right. Got married when she was 5. I've been told here. I was like, yeah. I didn't know Washington allowed for that, but interesting to know. Good. Badumch. All right. Anybody else who hasn't had a chance yet? All right. Oh, I see one more hand. Yes. You've been reading Ramban. Wonderful. You got to study. That's great. What you read? The 13 Principles of Faith. Okay. A classic. There we go. All right. It sounds like it was a wonderful week for a lot of folks here and stuff. That's great. So go out there and make some more wonderful things happen also in the next week. Looking forward to hearing all about it.
And we say a blessing, the Hatimah, to close this sort of universal prayer of thanks that we all hear. On the bottom of 58, we say, "Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'eh lehodot." And we join in the prayer for peace, page 60. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Ata Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael, v'shalom. Bless the Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. We take a moment of silence now for the prayers of our heart. We come back together afterwards with the sermon anthem by Cantor.
prayer for justice. The work is too heavy for one person alone, and each day it just seems to increase. But when carried by many, oh, how light it becomes, taking it piece by piece. The world we are building for our families to share is made up of our words and our deeds. For the sake of our children, we must build it with care, building it piece by piece, taking it piece by piece, till we bring this world together, piece by piece, till we find release, piece by piece. Some people may tell you that it's useless to try, all your efforts are dust in the breeze. But little by little, we just might stem the tide, taking it piece by piece, taking it piece by piece, till we bring this world together, piece by piece, till we find release, piece by piece. There are people who stand up, who join in the fight to aid people who yearn to be free. With resolve in our hearts and the drive to do right, demanding it piece by piece, taking it piece by piece, till we bring this world together, piece by piece, till we find release, piece by piece, till we bring this world together, piece by piece. May God grant peace by peace.
All right, Yashakor, beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, and now it is my honor to call up Kate Harris from the Jewish Coalition of Immigrant Justice to address us here tonight.
Oh, come that way. That's okay. Just watch your step. Oh, why don't you go back that way? I would just go back and go all the way around. I always forget to tell people we don't want any injuries, so go all the way around when you come up. There you go. Sorry about that. There you go.
Thank you.
And if you need a stand.
Let's get my
Yep.
thing out here.
Yes. There you go.
Thank
We'll
you.
give you this if you like.
I would. What a great
There
idea.
you go. Welcome.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. This is the first time I've been at an actual Shabbat service since before the pandemic, and I have to say it really beats Shabbat on Zoom. So So I'm really quite excited to be here. I'm Katie, or Kate Harris, from the steering committee of the Jewish Coalition for Immigrant Justice Northwest, and I'm one of its co-founders as well. In 2017, 5 of us who are perennial organizers came together. We had an idea that we could harness Jewish community support for immigrant justice into a force for good in Washington state. So we created an independent coalition within the Jewish community that could encompass congregations, unaffiliated people, and other Jewish organizations. But we don't simply work in the Jewish community. We are deeply tied into the immigrant justice movement in Washington. First and foremost, we follow the lead of the people most impacted. And so we partner with the Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network, which is an immigrant-led statewide coalition. It's got at least 50 organizations that are members. Our mission is to inspire activism in the Jewish community and to build Jewish community visibility in the immigrant justice movement. So we do these in several ways. Some of you may be aware of our annual fundraiser for the Fair Fight Bond Fund of the Washington Solidarity Network. That is a revolving fund to bond people out of the Northwest Detention Center, a place many of you know well. And to date, we've raised $175,000 to bond people out of the detention center. So we are very proud of that. We also provide coordination and training of volunteers to accompany immigrants to bond hearings, to court appointments, and to medical appointments. You know, a lot of that has been suspended because of, because courts were closed. But that piece of our work is picking back up, and I'm going to come back to that in a bit. We develop housing opportunities for immigrants who are getting out of detention. And I'll come back to that as well, because that is turning into an important piece of our work. We hold visibility events, for example, at the detention center. We've held Sukkot services there. During the legislative session especially, we send out action alerts, which I know some of you receive, to spur active advocacy in the Jewish community. We coordinate campaigns, statewide with other organizations. We hold community education events, and I'll come back to that as well. And we do coordinated campaigns within the Jewish community. So, for example, we organized a letter which had 42 signers, rabbis and leaders of other Jewish organizations from throughout Washington state to Governor Inslee, in support of creating a fund, a COVID relief fund for undocumented essential workers. So that gives you a picture of what we do. I want to focus on what our priorities are for this coming year, and then suggest some ways that your congregation could be involved. The first is that we are building community support in the Jewish community for something called the Roadmap to Freedom. We are also developing a guide to housing immigrants in the community. We're expanding our support to congregations for programming around immigrant justice. And then the fourth priority for us this year is to build our accompaniment practice back up. So I'm going to focus on some of our work that I think might be especially of interest to you. and that your congregation might want to coordinate with us or through us with other congregations. So I've mentioned advocacy, and I briefly mentioned something called the Roadmap to Freedom. And this is one area where I think that you might be interested in playing a role. So the roadmap is a congressional resolution. It was spearheaded by Pramila Jayapal, and it has been described as the North Star of what immigration policy at the federal level should be. It does an amazing job of laying out all of the components of just, humane, and comprehensive of the comprehensive immigration framework. And part of what makes it so useful is that it could be passed as one mega bill, but also it could be taken up in pieces with each of its component parts contributing to creating this comprehensive framework. So no matter which kind of administration is in power and who's in Congress, we can either do it as a big effort, or we can chip away at this piece by piece. The Roadmap to Freedom is also a really great education tool so that people can learn about what the issues are related to immigrant justice. So it's a wonderful framework for having discussions, for example, in congregations. Congregations are endorsing the roadmap, and this gives congregational committees, for example, a Tikkun Olam committee or social action committee, guidance for planning projects related to immigration. Also, if a congregation decides to endorse the roadmap, basically they've given this really comprehensive scope of work to a committee, so that the committee has a lot of flexibility in its projects, and they don't have to run to the board all the time for approval. And apparently that is very compelling. So in terms of what might be of interest to you, you have two legislators, you have two members of Congress who are not against it, but they're not on board. So you've got Kilmer and Strickland. And we are especially interested in Kilmer. So one of the things that we're hoping you might be interested in is arranging meetings with your members of Congress or their staffs, and to let your members of Congress know that you want the roadmap endorsed, that you support an end to family separation, you support an end to detention, you support an end to ICE funding, and that you want paths to citizenship created, and that you want a just and humane immigration system. So Kilmer in particular talks the talk, but he's not walking the walk. And it would be very helpful if you were to register your interest and approval of the roadmap, and ask for his endorsement. So, as the detention center up close and personal, and I think that is very, very compelling, and needs to be brought to, in particular, Kilmer's attention. You can speak to how humans should be treated. We're planning a meeting of our advocacy committee late in August. If you'd like to participate, that would be wonderful. Another possibility in a different direction would be home hosting an immigrant coming out of detention, and or providing support for a family or an immigrant individual. as a congregation. And this is something that I've actually done. So I brought a proposal to support an immigrant family coming out of detention to my previous congregation. And the board said yes, we could go ahead with this if we found housing for them, and we did. Somebody stepped up. This project turned out to be an amazing fit. And what made it such a great fit was that people could participate in so many different ways. So, some people provided furniture and clothing, at the outset. But we also had somebody who served as a medical interpreter. We had people who helped them with community training, like how to ride the bus, how to shop, how to use money. We had people who did English conversation with them once a week. When we started this project, I had been thinking about what we would do for them, and it did not occur to me what they would do for us. And it was an extraordinary community building experience. The other thing that it did, our support for this family played a major role in their winning asylum. And the judge said in his opinion that the number and the nature of the letters that he got, the letters of support for this family, spoke to what the family would bring to the community. And the letters made me weep. It really can be an extraordinary experience for a congregation to do this. We have a new home hosting program at the Jewish Coalition. So we have figured out what the component parts are of hosting somebody. What are all the different things you have to think about? What's the sequence of steps you go through? What are you expected to provide? Where are the difficulties in terms of, for example, dealing with ICE, or making sure that no appointment gets missed and all that kind of stuff. And related to that, we're building new relationships with community service providers who can provide support for the people that we're supporting. So, for example, Lutheran Community Services has just agreed to do case management for us, and they do case management in Seattle for people coming out of detention seeking asylum. And we're working on a relationship with the refugee clinic at Harborview for the same kinds of, appropriate medical services for people who have been tortured, people who have been tortured by detention, and so forth. As I mentioned, we've got this accompaniment program where you would accompany people going to court or going to medical visits. And that is something for which we provide training. So you wouldn't just do it. You would actually learn how to do it. And as court visits pick up, this is really going to become a very significant piece of work, especially because so many more people are being released into the community and need people to accompany them. So as you think about my ask, I'd like you to think about what does ideal programming look like for your congregation? What resonates with people in the congregation and why? What qualities do programs that work well for you have? Because it turns out that that's a really significant part of whether projects are successful. So, for example, try on the idea, would you like a community learning session about the roadmap to kind of understand what a comprehensive immigration policy might look like? Would you like to do some coalition building around the roadmap with other organizations in Tacoma? Would you like to do home hosting? or congregational sponsorship. So those are a few of my thoughts about ways that you might be able to harness our Jewish interest in welcoming the stranger. And I'm happy to stick around afterwards to answer any of your questions.
Thank you so much. Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're so right. I was, trying not to forget it over there, so I forgot it here instead.
There you go. I hope so.
All right. Once more, thank you very much. And of course, if you want to stick around afterwards for a conversation, thank you for that, Arthur. I really appreciate you sharing with us. We take a moment now to think of those in need of healing, of body, mind, and soul, as we hear so often, unfortunately, that the world still is in need of a lot of that. Take a moment, think of those who, in your personal lives, of the people that you know and care about, who are in need of that healing. Also those at home, if you want to share their names in the chat. And as we go around here, are there any people who need of us? Yes.
Suzanne Peters and Barbara. We join together.
We're on page 253 for Misha Berach as we ask for healing as a community.
Before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor abracha. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Before we move into the Aleinu, one of our closing prayers, starting page 282 and page 287, a creative reading on Aleinu by Hayes. Aleinu, it is on us. Love the stranger as you would love yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt, God said. To advocate for a world in which the 68 million people who flee for their lives can find protection and a place to call home. To stand with those who leave nightmarish situations only to undertake nightmarish journeys, so that they may exercise their legal right to find protection in these United States. To cry out for the families who are separated from one another, detained without an end in sight. Babies calling for parents who may never see them again. To speak up when those in power shut the doors of our country to victims of violence and persecution. To stay outraged from a place of love rather than hate, from a place of welcome rather than exclusion. These too are our obligations without measure. Aleinu, that is on us. Please rise as we are facing the building one more time, page 282 and page 287.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמן והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Everybody, please have a seat. Page 291 on the bottom. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our lives, these are the ways we remember. This moment, we ask those who are in a period of mourning, either Shiva or Shlashim, the first 7 or 30 days of mourning, to rise at this moment. Same at home, of course. For them, we say together, Hamakom Yenachem Etchem, B'toch She'ah Avalei Tzion B'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you with all who mourn in Zion and Jerusalem. And those who are observing a yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, please rise at that moment, at this moment. From our community, remember the following: Roland Bennett, Ruth Block, Ida Cohn, Faina Freund, Max Garden, Michael Hodes, Joshua Isaac, Herman Lehrer, Faith Lidowitz, Aaron Lidowitz, Lois Michaels, Nahum Mizrahi, Harry Posner, Rose Posner, Morris Falowitz, Dori Resnick, Jacques Reutlinger, Meir Roderick, Malka Schwab, Miriam Snyder, Leah Sosnovic, Ida Walker, Irving Welled, Clara Selichenko, Adele Zarowin, and Miriam Zarinsky. Is anybody else whom I'm thinking at this time whose name was not mentioned yet? Please feel free to add or type in the chat. For all of them, we're about to recite the Mourner's Kaddish, which you can find on page 294 in your books. Everybody, please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, יתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, יתהדה ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. זיכרונם לברכה. May their memories be a blessing. Please have a seat. All right, announcements. Do we have those today?
Yes, announcements. We have announcements. Vivian is going to join us this evening for many announcements coming up. And it's a short list. She says it's short. Okay, here you are. Oh, watch your step. There you go.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, Shabbat tomorrow. The Torah study begins at 9 a.m. on Zoom. Services at 10 o'clock will either be in person outside or on Zoom. Havdalah on Zoom at 7:30. Everyone is welcome to join in for Havdalah. To partake of the blessings in your home, you need wine, spices, and a braided candle are needed. If you don't have these items, joining a flame of 2 candles and using other celebration beverages are substitutions. The link for the Havdalah blessings can be found in the Shabbat Shalom. Registration is open for Hebrew school for this coming year. Information regarding registration is coming, and you could also contact Leslie Bright. The Judaica shop hours are on Friday from 10:30 a.m. until noon, or in the evening from 5:30 to 6 before evening services. Well, immigration is on the list. In the Shabbat Shalom, I put out information about Aid Northwest. They continue to need donations. Their numbers have increased. In July, they served 300 people approximately, and currently are serving 50 people each day, detainees that are being released. So, and their information is in the Shabbat Shalom, or you can contact me and I can send you a flyer. I got an email from Jewish Family Services, who is their partner is Hebrew Immigration Advocacy Services. They are expecting 40 Afghani families. Donations are needed for support for these families. You can find their website, the Jewish Family Service website, under Refugee and Immigration Services, can be found online. If you have any questions or concerns that you want to address for the clergy, they are right here, and you can contact them via email. Thank you.
Thank you, Yashikoa. You were right, that was short. And I want to thank Vivian Morrison, also who's co-chair of our Tikkun Olam, for all that she does. I endlessly see these amazing emails from our committee and all that they do. And thank you again to Kate Harris for sharing these words this evening. Thank you.
And of course, thanks to everybody who makes Shabbat services happen here week after week. Those who set up and clean up afterwards. Our TTT, which keeps growing in number, which is really wonderful. A wonderful band cat. And Sally is back here 2 weeks after the Bar Mitzvah. I'm still so impressed. Good, Yasha Koach. And Barb, of course, as well. It's something our numbers keep growing. It's amazing. Thank you so much, you guys. And also Alan Peters and husband Jeff for lighting the candles earlier. Our security, Mania Espinoza, and also our lead security, Sean Patel. And thanks to everybody who has a piece. And also to Cantor this week, who took us on a beautiful journey, a Shabbat across the world, and other beautiful songs for this as well. So Yashakawach on this as well.
Thank you.
All right.
So we're going to conclude with make a noise, because in order for social justice, you need to make a noise. And this is written by Alan Weiner, and you can find it in your OOW. And I'll ask you to rise so that we can make a noise together. Make a noise. Make a joyful, joyful noise. Make a noise. Stand up for what you believe in. Make a noise. Make a noise. Make a righteous, righteous noise. Come, raise your voice. Make a noise. Make a noise for justice. Make a noise for peace. Make a noise for freedom. Let all hatred cease. Make a noise for our allies and the people who fight. Stand up against the ones who do not wrong from right. Just make a noise. Make a joyful, joyful noise. Make a noise. Stand up for what you believe in. Make a noise. Make a noise. Make a righteous, righteous noise. Come, raise your voice. Make a noise. Make a noise for housing. Make a noise for learning. Make a noise for the wages that all should be earning. Make a noise and walk together, though it's a climb. Stand up for freedom, do it all the time. Just make a noise. Make a joyful, joyful noise. Make a noise. Stand up for what you believe in. Make a noise. Make a noise. Make a righteous, righteous noise. Come, raise your voice. Make a noise. Make a noise for love. Make a noise for care. And make a noise for the planet that we all share. Make a noise for courage and a truthful song. Stand up against the ones who say that you are wrong. Just make a noise. Make a joyful, joyful noise. Make a noise. For you believe in. Make a noise. Make a noise. Make a righteous, righteous noise. Come, raise your voice. Come, raise your voice. Make a noise.
All right, Yashaka. Nice. And before we are heading out, we're going to do Kiddush and Motzi. Kiddush is on page 5, if you want to follow along with that in the books. And, oh, yes, thank you. And also, once we're done with this, please also, if you can take your chairs and help, clearing those up, bring them back to the entrance. That would be very helpful for our volunteers. Thank you.
Join with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri harafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehila le'mikra'e kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kimanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabat kodshcha be'ahava u'ratzon inhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat l'chaim.
Fine. Let's join in Motzi. It's also on the bottom of your pamphlet. If you want to follow. Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you for being here and online. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. And please feel free to pick a piece of challah.
And if you can return your chairs to the area as well as your prayer books. Shabbat Shalom.